how are you, Tracy? Good morning.
I'm wonderful, Claudia. How are you? Good morning.
Very, very good, thank you. So, could you please tell the people who is going to get this book why do you think the diet or the food that we eat is important for an overall health?
Oh, my word. Excellent, excellent question. So, in my personal experience, I thought that I was eating like I should. And what I didn't realize was I always was feeling sick. I couldn't remember a time as a child, even when I didn't have high anxiety or a little bit of stomach problem or insecurity about my gut. Um, one year I remember having horrid diarrhea issues when I get to school and, but there was understanding. This is the 70s. And so they didn't really look at food like they do today. So as a personal experience, growing up like that and being somewhat tired all the time and just not as vibrant as I believe I could have been, and, um, I know it put me on my path today, so I look at that as a positive, but food is so important. And this book, has some phenomenal recipes that can help somebody really change their life. And once I start changing my diet and figuring out my body, everything changed for me in a very positive way. So I'm excited to get this book into my own hands because I can't wait to try the other author's recipes and improve my health even more.
What do you do to help people achieve this mind state of eating healthy? Because it's not only just eating healthy, it's just to have the whole
Right,
ideas, the correct ideas in your head.
right. That's a really good question too. One of the biggest things is there's so many theories out there. You can get confused, therefore you don't do anything. So what I generally do is I'll look at my clients within the first several sessions. I'll look at their diet and look for any sabotaging foods that maybe they think are helping them, but really educating them on um, ingredients. And the other huge benefit is I put them through mindful exercises, mindful eating, being questioning the food that's going into their cart. Actually, when they eat, saying, "Hey, how do I feel before? How am I feeling during this meal? Do I feel bloated later, or do I feel like I have a lot of energy?" And really starting to ask those questions because, again, for me, I used to just force my body to deal with whatever I put in my mouth. And so what we educating someone and letting them know that their body is giving them signals. And I find that too, I'll have a client that does so many things right. And it's just looking at those tiny little things. And once we figure out what it is, their weight will drop or they feel better, their stress is down. Being aware, being really mindful and having fun I like to think of it this way, you're on a journey of investigation. And if you can make it fun and as opposed to, oh, I have to do this, but like, oh my word, I'm on a path to figure this out and your body will tell you pretty quick if something's not working. So.
What are the little signals that usually people just dismiss?
I can speak from my experience too. First was I just didn't pay attention to when I when I ate something that's pretty soon after my heart rate would go up to where even my stomach would start to hurt, and then I would grab another food item in hopes to counter what I had just put into my stomach, and it was this horrid battle. So for me again, I grew up that way. I didn't know that wasn't normal. So that also they'll complain of bloating, but again, they don't. People's bloating is an immediate red flag.
Mhm.
And also, if you're feeling after you eat really, really tired. That's a huge sign. And we just assume that's normal. And
Yeah.
so it's helping people understand what has been said as normal really is not normal for our bodies, and we don't have to feel that way. That's
So what is,
a,
oh,
go ahead. And then I always thought there's other symptoms that can happen. You know, skin can tell a big story if you're having an issue. So we look at all those things.
so what is the biggest challenge your clients find?
To be successful, I think a lot of it is lack of knowledge, and then they get really hard on themselves. They're very condemning, or if they make a mistake. And the other big challenge is sometimes the process of discovery might take a little longer in the beginning. So being patient to go through a little bit of that. And then just learning when you're around an environment that's full of toxic food and ingredients that our bodies don't know how to handle. How do you navigate through that at a dinner party or lunch at work, or when the donuts show up in the office? People are saying, "Oh, just have one." How do you know what I mean? And then so those things of learning to say, "Hey, I'm confident that I do not want that," and helping them make those statements and feeling good about it versus, "Oh, I can't have it," but no, I don't want that in my body anymore. I feel great now. To that side of the pendulum versus where they feel they are being denied, to realizing, oh my gosh, I've been denied all this time because I've been eating this garbage, to, oh my word, this feels great over here. There's no way I'm going back. So that can be a really hard journey sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Saying no to something, like in general, it's easy, but when you're invited somewhere and they serve you food, it's like, it's also the personal feelings that you can give to people. Like, no, I don't want to eat what you're giving me.
And that obligation to be polite, even when you could get sick from it and pay the price. And then there's a stigma that you're high maintenance, and people don't want to be high maintenance. And that's been a thing for me, where I'm just saying, hey, I'm going to literally say now, I'm going to feel like horrid if I eat that. And I just don't want to feel horrible. And then they're like, oh, okay, So getting that point where you can just say, hey, not that I'm being high maintenance, it's just, I don't want to feel bad.
So tell us, not exactly about your recipe. Can you tell me what is your favorite food?
Okay, I'm going to give you, oh goodness, I just love food. Favorite food. That is such a good question. Right now, it's really interesting, since it's really funny. So my old self, like pizza. Well, it's true. I still love pizza. I love my pepperoni and mushroom and olive, thing. I just don't hardly anymore. But that's where I came from. When I ate that a lot, definitely I was overweight. So my favorite food really is, I can't pin it on one thing. What I'm loving now is that I can eat healthy, and I can have amazing vegetables and fruits, and I've learned how to cook even meats in an amazing way that are tasty and fantastic. So I'm at a loss with that question. I just love being able to cook now, where I know what to do, and I know every little bit on my table is serving me, and then if I choose, I can definitely add a treat, I'm kind of still at 90, 10, 85, 15 kind of a rounded diet, but I'm going to really think hard about that further. But you know, when you say that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a great salad with amazing um, sauteed chicken and then with garlic and kale and quinoa. I just love that kind of stuff. So,
This is it. For example, here I realized with my roommate that we are never, we always have avocado.
uh,
Always.
mm,
So I just realized that we eat not a lot, but we always do. We don't miss it
yeah, yeah,
every week.
yeah, yeah,
So that's
yeah,
obviously one of our favorites for both of us.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And I think too with the season it changes. So I'll
Yeah.
crave different things in the summer and then in the winter. It's really interesting. I want, like a butternut squash and, avocado I love um, so I'm learning to go with that changing of the season.
Hmm.
My palate does change. I love I make a great homemade chili now, all nutrition, no garbage in there, and love that. So spicy food, I love
You love spicy
spicy
food, okay.
food.
So what are the benefits of the bone broth?
Oh my. So what I found with that, and once I did my research on it, and I utilized it with several clients, it's just so good for your gut health. It's digestion, helps with inflammation of the gut, for your blood. I had a client who's going through chemo, and her naturopath,
Hmm.
having her make bone broth, so I'm helping her with her recipes and things like that. So it's just a very soothing staple. And so when I
Hmm.
make mine, I make it very, very plain, and then I'll freeze it, and then or I put it in jars. And then when I'm making things with it, I can season it any way I want, but I make it in big batches in one day. And the only way that it's really of the benefit, you have to have a healthy animal.
Hmm.
That's not, you do not want to make this if it's not an organic, naturally fed, grass fed, in their environment type animal. So, and my animal, I love animals, so I always have to my animal, my chicken or I'm so grateful to that little creature for giving me benefit of them. So I'm very sensitive to that. Yeah. So yeah, it's economical, so you can make it. You do not have to go out and spend a lot of money. Like I noticed when you go into the store, it's much more expensive than the standard broth. But you can make it on your own and put it in soups, and your family can have the benefit of utilizing that broth versus something that you buy. Um, and yeah, it even helps your own bones. It's just a really, really great staple.
So what can you tell to people who will get this book, the people that are usually allergic to so many things that are kind of new
Yeah,
because there weren't so many allergies 30, 40 years ago.
right. This uh, again, the authors that are contributing to this book are all coming from very let's say this, their background with that recipe is very knowledgeable. You can buy this book, and there's going to be something in there for anyone. You know, the various uh, recipes address if you need gluten free, can you not have certain vegetables, certain fruits. It's addressing all those things, dairy. And I've seen some of the recipes coming through in our private Facebook group, and I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Right. Sheila, if you buy this book, anyone, I would say anyone, even if you do not have an allergy, should buy this book and choose recipes from it. It's very healthy. And there is more to eat, even for those that are suffering from severe allergies. I believe, too, there's a theory, too, allergies, again, we are in that environment where we've not faced these allergies before. So if we can help our body clear out the the garbage and reset itself by putting truly healthy food in that's not chemical laden, doesn't have those triggers. I've heard that these allergies can go away. So I think too, the other thing that's going to be really neat about this book is, again, it's for anybody. I think anyone should buy it because discover, wow, I feel amazing eating like this, and I didn't realize this again. I felt so awful before, or I had these weird digestive problems that I was not aware of.
Thank you. Could you just tell people how can they reach you?
Oh yes, so you can reach me at tracycromwell.com, and that's my email. And my business on Facebook is Innovations in Anti-Aging. I have a Facebook page there. On Twitter as Tracy Cromwell. That's right. Yeah. And I know. And it's so funny. I try and do the social media thing, and then I can't remember what my contacts are. But yes, the email is the way to reach me, and you can go to my website there, and I also have a complimentary health consultation that I can do even as a distance session, and you'll see when you go to my site, a calendar will pop up, and you can go and pick a day that's open and a time, and it will notify me, and I'd be happy to help anyone with that complimentary session.
Perfect. Thank you, Tracy, so
You're
much.
welcome. It's very fun.
So,
Thanks,
bye,
Claudia.
Tracy.
Take care.
Bye. You too.